Tony Perkins here with the Family Research Council. Tony, thanks for being here.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
We're doing well. We have some topics, don't we?
Well, Tony, we wanted to talk to you about the Supreme Court. You know, you wanted Amy Barrett or Thomas Hardiman. How disappointed were you when you heard the president's pick?
Well, you know, actually not really disappointed. The president putting out a list of 25 candidates that have been thoroughly vetted. Any one of those candidates would be good from a standpoint of wanting to write the court back to adhering to the words of the Constitution. All of those are constitutional. So we feel confident based on this administration's track record that Kavanaugh is going to be a good jurist. Now, that said, yeah, I was in fact anticipating the president, who is much more aggressive than we know from the traditional Republican ranks. You know, if he's going to have a fight, and anybody he appoints is going to be a fight, we thought, well, hey, let's make it a good fight, because that's what he generally does: clear the benches, everybody onto the field. And I think Amy Barrett or a Hardiman would have been that type of judicial brawl, if you will. It's going to be a fight anyway. And I think conservatives are going to lock ranks behind this administration, again, based on the track record that he has picked really good jurists from the district court all the way up to Neil Gorsuch.
Well, that was a little bit of my analysis as well, that you would think he's been bold in everything he did. I'm surprised. I thought he was itching for a fight with Barrett, but he didn't go there. What's the biggest roadblock for Kavanaugh here? What's your concern? Abortion has come up, and this idea that he never said those words, constitutional right to an abortion, where the other judge in the dissent did say that.
Well, you know, again, I think the president has a lot of credibility, a lot of street cred, if you will, with conservatives based upon what his administration has done. He has kept all of his political promises. That in itself is unique. So I think everybody's going to say, we agree with him. We're for Kavanaugh. You see this, the locking ranks. Again, you look at some of his 300 opinions, and I'm sure you can find something you disagree with. But it's clear that he is a strict constructionist. He's going to abide by the letter of the Constitution, which is what we're looking for. I think that probably the biggest challenge that has to be communicated, and I've seen the vice president already doing this. Yeah, there was a couple of troubling decisions on the life issue, but they weren't significant. I think the bigger issue is the path that he has taken to get to the court. I mean, he's basically been in D.C. And there's some others that have come through that same route, and they've not turned out to be so good. And I think that's is just having to overcome that. I'm not like that. I think there's some concerns that even as Roberts has disappointed folks on the Obamacare decision, that in basically following the same route to the Supreme Court. So I just think it's perception. I don't think it's substance. I think it's perception, and I think the administration has plenty of time to overcome that.
I was going to ask you real quick about Roberts, though. So you mentioned Roberts, because clearly there's some disappointment there, and I would think that Kavanaugh, the concern would be that he's more of like an incrementalist. I mean, he's not a Clarence Thomas. He's not a Sam Alito. Is that and if this becomes an incrementalist situation, I mean, maybe that's good on the margins, but this could have been a home run.
Look, we could have had a stronger, I think in perception, I think in substance, I think he's going to be fine. I think that he is going to be fine. I think when you look at his opinions, he is a strict constructionist. He's a constitutionalist. He's going to go through the text. So I think we're fine. I think it's all perception, mostly. And I just know that where the rank and file of the conservative movement in particular, the reason I said Barrett would be good is because when she was confirmed last year, they attacked her faith, and we saw people who generally don't pay attention. They were engaged because they saw that as an extension of what the Democratic Party did under Barack Obama and has continued, and that is to say, basically, if you're a person of faith, you can't come in and be a part of public service. And I think that type of engagement would not only help this justice be confirmed. I know there was issues with Collins and Murkowski, but I actually think it would have spilled over into the midterm election because of the engagement and the enthusiasm of conservative voters.
Are you concerned about that, Tony? How concerned are you that because he nominated Kavanaugh, that evangelicals, who particularly the GOP needs to turn out, that this might not galvanize the base like a Barrett or a Hardiman would have?
Well, clearly there'll be a distinction, but I think that through this process, we're going to take this as one of those teaching moments. to talk about the role of the court and what the court has been doing and what's to come in the court and the significance of this election. It's a little harder. This is going to be more of an inside game in terms of this confirmation of Kavanaugh, juxtaposed to an Amy Barrett, which I think would have been more of an outside game as well, which would have, it'd have been easier to connect people with it. But again, it's perception, substance is the same, the end result I believe is going to be the same as well.